I just got back from the Scholastic Summer Reading Summit, and it was awesome! I went to the one that was here in Austin because I live here, but also because their afternoon keynote panel was Juju Morales, and she's amazing. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So today's going to be less of a review and more of a here, this is awesome thing. So they gave us these hats. It says, reading is my favorite sport, and I'm going to take it off because I look ridiculous in hats. And I really liked that they said reading is my favorite sport because very much and very often families notice how kids need to practice their sports and they're willing to support that hundreds of thousands of hours of practice that a kid needs to do to be good at a sport. And they talked about how we also need to encourage them to practice to read. And the difference is that in a sport, you can actually see them getting better, whereas in reading, they don't actually see how they are performing better and how their fluency is getting better and how their comprehension is better. It's not something you see. Anyway, so I started my day at super early in the morning, and I went to Mr. Shu's breakfast, Book Talks and Bagels, where he and Jenny Holm did a lot of book talks. And it was awesome because if you have ever seen Mr. Shu live, he gives out a lot of books while he's talking, and he's just great, and I love him. I took notes during everything, and I'll link my notes below in the blog. And I put them everywhere on Facebook and everything. And I took lots of pictures, and those are on my Instagram and Twitter, so go follow those if you want to see the pictures. I'll probably also put a little gallery in the blog below. Anyway, so at the tables in the morning were these awesome arcs of Sunny Rolls the Dice. This is part of the Sunny series by Jenny Holm. And in this one, Sunny learns D&D. So I'm super excited because y'all know I'm a nerd and I love D&D. I'm super excited to read this one. Next, he told us about this one book where in it, the student meets their librarian and it's Mr. Shu. So obviously I had to buy it, right? So going into the reading summit, I was like, I'm not going to buy any books today. I'm not. Because one, help me, I'm poor is my life. And two, I know that a lot of these books are going to be awesome and I'm going to want them not just for me, but for my library. And so I just made a list and I was taking pictures and, wrote them in my notes. And that way I know when I get my school budget in, I can buy them for me and my students. And that way I can share them easier with them rather than continuing to spend money on books that just kind of keep piling up in my house. Anyway, so the second book, I only bought 2 books. The first one that I bought was In Your Shoes because this is the one where Mr. Shu is the librarian. And it was really cool because he signs it where he pops up and the student walks in to the library. And it's really cool because it says, the man offered his hand and says, I'm Mr. Shu. Welcome to your library. Mr. Shu? Shu. He points to a name placard on the desk. SCHU. It's short for Schumacher. I'm John Schumacher, your friendly school librarian. It's Mr. Shu. It's awesome. So he signs it and it's super cute. So I had to buy that one. I had to. And I'm really excited to read it because it sounds really good. I don't know what it's about. I just bought it because it sounds awesome. I'm pretty sure about a student who finds that the library is like her safe place in a new school. But I'll let y'all know. I'll do a review on it once I read it. Sorry. And the other book that I bought is one that I had to read. I have to because I'd already heard about it. I've already heard it has amazing reviews. I've already heard it's fantastic. And it was on my hold list at Austin Public Library. But Scholastic has a special paperback version that they are selling at the reading summits and at all the fall book fairs. And I told myself, no, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just going to wait for when I have my Scholastic book fair in November and I'll buy it then. And I was like, no, I need to read this book. I need it. That book is Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. Please excuse my nails. They are horrible. I'm sorry. But I heard that this book is fantastic. Sorry, I sneezed. I heard that this book is fantastic, and so far it is. I'm only on page 48, and so far it's really, really good. It is not a modern retelling, but it's a different side of the story of Cinderella. So we know what happens to Cinderella. We know that the prince comes and finds her. She gets her foot into the glass slipper. And we know that the 2 stepsisters cut off their toes and their heel, right? And then we never hear about them again. We know they were awful, terrible people, and that's all we get. So this is the story of the stepsister and what happened to them after Cinderella leaves and goes to the castle. So I'm super excited. So Juji Morales was the afternoon keynote speaker, and her book Dreamers is flipping amazing, and I loved it. And if you saw my Instagram, I don't get speechless often. Y'all know this. I don't. It's only happened once before when we met Dustin from Stranger Things in Atlanta, and I couldn't say words when I met him. And when I saw Juji in the book fair, I went up to her and I was like, "Oh my God, are you Juji?" And she said, "Yes." And I just started crying. I couldn't even get words out. I was trying to say, as a Hispanic librarian, as somebody who's also found a safe place in libraries, who has also found themselves in libraries, who is in a female human in this time that craziness is going on in the world. Thank you. And I was trying to say that, and I was trying to just say thank you, and I couldn't get words out. I just cried. And so she gave me a hug and she said, "Thank you for your presence." And of course I cried some more, and then I asked her for a selfie, and I'm crying in the selfie and I look a mess. But if you have not already read Dreamers, go buy it. Don't just, probably go get it from the library and read it, but it's probably going to have a year of holds to read it. Go buy it. Support her because it is fantastic and it's beautiful. Everything is drawn and painted by her, and her stories about why different things are painted the way they are and why colors are the way they are. It's just, it's beautiful. But my favorite is obviously the library scene. It's beautiful. Go buy it. That's it. Just go buy it. Every librarian and every teacher needs it now. And then the awesome thing about going to a reading summit, if you've never gone to one, is they give you this huge bag full of books. So yeah, you're paying a lot of money for the PD, but you're also paying for a bag full of books. So I think it's totally worth it. I make a point that anytime it's in Texas, I try to go. I'm already planning on going to the one next year in 2020 in Dallas, because I think it's an awesome opportunity. It's not a lot of time in sessions where you're learning. You're only 2 sessions. So you have your morning keynote, which was Donna Lynn Miller, and she was awesome. And then I went to my first session. I went to empowering your students in a Read Woke movement, and how to help your students become activists. And then you have lunch, and they give you lunch, and it's delicious. And it's not just like crap box lunch. Like, it was like salmon and chicken and veggies and quinoa and dessert that was amazing. Like, it's a full, good lunch. And then you go to your afternoon session, and I went to Pernil Rip on ways to keep your students to help them become passionate readers and stay passionate readers. And it was awesome. And then the afternoon keynote was Juji. So it was amazing. So on top of the PD you get, on top of seeing a lot of awesome people, on top of just being in the environment that it's awesome. It's such a good feeling. It's kind of like being at TLA, but it's only a 1-day thing. And then all that, and then you get this huge bag of books. It's awesome. I love the Scholastic Reading Summit. I love it. I love it. I will go forever until I can't anymore. It's awesome. And then, of course, they have the book fair, and if you have Scholastic dollars, you can use those too. So that's awesome. I love it. I highly encourage you, if you ever get a chance to go to a reading summit, go, because it's worth it and it's amazing. I don't want to talk too much about the sessions I went to because I took really good notes, really detailed notes, and I'll link those again, like I said, in my blog. And the last thing I have to tell y'all is look at this beautiful shirt that Flipgrid sent me for being a global student voice ambassador. And then the back has the hashtag Flipgrid Fever. It's really cool. Thank you, Flipgrid. They also sent me some lanyards and stickers for my students, so I'm really excited to share those with my kiddos when we get back. But that's it. That's all I have to share with y'all. It was an awesome summit. I'm exhausted. I need a nap. So I'll talk to y'all later. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Other than that, for pictures or notes or whatever, until I get this posted, everything's in my Instagram. But yeah, thanks y'all. Bye.